Yes. So our first speaker, which is Toastmaster Ronawati Wongso, has joined Toastmasters since October 2019. She is the Vice President of Education of Han Toastmasters Surabaya and Treasurer of Bhinneka Online Toastmaster Club. She has completed 3 Pathways and Pathways Mentor Program within 15 months. That's very fast. And she is also a business consultant specializing in company profit optimization and turnaround. And she is also definitely an important public speaker in Indonesia and in Asia, I think. All right, without further ado, let us welcome Toastmaster Ronawati Wongso. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Linda, for the introduction. Let me share a screen to start with our discussion today. So today, we will discuss about progressing fast in pathways. I'd like to discuss about this topic because many people probably progress either fast or either slow, or they don't know how to progress fast in pathway. So I hope my discussion today or our discussion today will help all of those master members can progress fast in pathway and what benefits they can get. We just skip content, what I was going to talk about in this session. And I will not say it one by one. We'll start with who I am, about my story, about what is important, and why I would like to share this journey with you. So I am Ronawati Wongso. As Linda mentioned, I have joined Toastmaster in October 2019, and I have completed 3 Pathway plus Pathway Mentoring Program in 15 months. It's fast, isn't it? I think you all agree that it's quite fast. But I do it enjoyable, so I don't feel stressed in doing this pathway. And I would like to share with you on how I do it, so you all can also enjoy the journey and get the benefit of the pathway. Okay, I would like to tell a little bit about my story. So when I started pathway in Toastmaster, for the first pathway, I completed within 9 months. So for the 15 months, 1 pathway I completed within 9 months. The rest of the pathway, the remaining 6 months, I completed 3 pathway. That's because when I started, I do it 1 step at a time. So I do each project and level sequentially. And at the time, there was really no one taught me or share with me on how to progress fast in pathway. So this what I learned from my own experience, which I would like to share with you. And then secondly, how my friends and surrounding progress influenced me. Because in Han Toastmaster, many of the members progress slowly. So I thought that was the norm. Because sometimes members, they just deliver speech, 1 speech like after 2 months or 3 months. So I thought, well, that is how it works in Toastmaster. So like the first, I think from October until about when we started the COVID, so about the first 6 months, I progressed very slow in Toastmaster because that's how I thought that how it works. However, since starting this pathway online, then I start seeing, especially the MBTC members like Bafes, he progressed very fast and also Ben. So I thought, well, it's not something which I thought that was the norm, but actually it really depends on us on how we want to progress. So our surrounding influenced me to progress in pathway fast. And the third reason is it's difficult to find personal story to share. So at the beginning, when I just joined Toastmaster and I listened to people or Han Toastmaster member give a speech, and I always ask, how did you find all this story that you want to share when you deliver your speech? Because I don't think that I have any stories. It seems like my life is just Well, just the regular life. There is really nothing dramatic. And then I will discuss more on how you find personal story to share, and also Natali will discuss in more detail. And these are the reasons why people are holding back to deliver your speech. The first one is afraid of delivering my speech, fear. I got this from my protege when he joined Toastmaster in November, and I was his mentor starting in June. So within 7 months, he only delivered icebreaker. And I asked him why. First, he was afraid. He said he was afraid either to deliver a speech and also afraid of taking somebody's slot of speaking. It's his fear. And second is he doesn't know what to talk about. I think that's probably many of us have this problem. We don't know what to talk about. And the third one is difficult to get a speaking slot. This is like after the COVID, because before the COVID, they're just confined to delivering in our own club. For me, more relevant to me is the second and the third. For the fear, probably because I have been working for many years and I have delivered many speeches. I'm not afraid of delivering my speeches, but I don't know what to talk about, and it's difficult to get a speaking slot. So there's a hypothesis. Some people say, why do you want to progress fast? Learning takes time. So like a wine, it takes time to brew and to get a good taste. But is it really that you will not get anything by progressing fast? What do you think if progressing fast in pathway allow you to practice more and learn more? Because by practicing in pathway, for example, if one path we finish in 2 years, and then if we progress fast, within that 2 years, we can do 6 pathways. Who do you think has practiced more and learned more? Of course, the one who progress fast. So progress fast has the benefit to allow you to practice more and learn more. With more practice, then we hear that practice makes perfect. 3 elements of progressing fast in pathway. This is the 3 elements which I think what will help you to progress fast in pathway, and this is what I practice. The first is research and plan. The second is write and practice. And the third is commit yourself. And I will discuss in great detail with you. Research and plan. When you started pathway, or when I started pathway, this I learned after the first pathway I took. So I want to share with you so you can progress fast. So browse the project in each level and write it in Excel spreadsheet. And I will share you on how to do it in Excel spreadsheet. The purpose of this is to know or to think about your next project, and also on the projects that you might come along, even if it's in a different level. And the second is tentatively choose elective which suit your interest and need. You go over the pathway from level 1 to level 5, and you see what is in each project in each level. Some level has elective. You browse all the elective that is offered and think which one you will choose tentatively, because you can still change until that time. And elective may change as you progress your pathway. Now I would like to share with you my Excel spreadsheet on how I do it, how I research and plan. Okay, this is like, I will start engaging humor. This is the pathway, my first pathway, which I have not started. So when I look when I want to start, if you look at it, there's timeline and pathway. Okay, and this is the pathway that I will have. So I browse the pathway and see what's in each level. Here I say icebreaker, evaluation and feedback first speech, evaluation and feedback second speech, and then evaluation, and then research and presenting, and etc. etc. And even here, I choose the elective tentatively. I have the pathway worksheet, and also I have the timeline worksheet. The pathway is to make it easier for us to review what we had in each pathway and the detail. And I will share with you what the Excel spreadsheet looked like once I completed the pathway. So let me share with you another screen. Okay, here you will see this is the pathway that I did in effective coaching. That's the pathway I already completed. So in here, it's very easy for you to see the date, the level, the project, the speech, the evaluator, the venue, and the award. And this is necessary when we have at the end of the pathway, when we complete past completion, one of the assignment is to have your timeline. So here is, so I put everything, what I do during the pathway here. So it consists of the pathway, the project that I took, but also all of the event that I attended. So either I attend a workshop, I attend another club meeting. So I put it all here. And this timeline will save you time because at the end of the pathway, at the past completion, it will ask you to have the timeline of your journey in Toastmaster in completing this pathway. So if you do this, you don't need to try to remember what you have done. In the first pathway, I didn't know about this. So I tried to remember everything because even in the pathway, they will ask you, when is the first time you become a timer? When is the first time you do a GE? When is the first time that you are a grammarian, etc.? And I could not remember when that was. With this, then we can look all the history in our journey in Toastmaster. So this will help you a lot. And then secondly, in addition to the timeline, I think we have to do a speech, reflect on your path. By having this, it's very easy for us to look back of what we have learned. And it's really, really time effective because then you can start writing and thinking about what you learned in your pathway. Now let me go back to the slide. So the purpose of research and plan is to first, give you time to think about the subject of your next speech. And this is very important. When I do my project, and then I think about the next project because I already browse, I know what is my next project. And I don't write anything. I just start thinking even when I drive, even before I'm going to sleep, thinking about the topic or the subject of my next speech. And this way it saves time because if you just start thinking when you have the project, you will kind of wondering, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to share? So with this, it gives you preparation in advance to start thinking about it. And second, by browsing and have it in Excel spreadsheet, then when a project comes up that fit with your plan, you can participate and sign up. This is especially true like for level 4 and level 5 projects, which normally are long-term projects. Then if we know that it's within or in our project, then if a project coming up, then we can just sign up or we can participate. And we don't need to do sequentially. For example, if we are in level 2 and there is level 4 project coming up, we can just jump to level 4, do the project because the project may not come at the time when we are ready for level 4. So just grab the project, participate, And then you can continue with your project. For example, it's level 2, then you continue. Yeah. But at least for the project that you need to have in level 4 already completed, if that is the case. It's also the same like for HPL project, because HPL project sometimes takes a long time. And you have to think about what project to do in HPL. But oftentimes or sometimes we get the opportunity that there is a project come to us so we can do our level 4 or level 5 project. And this will save you time and will help you progress in Pathway Fast. So research and plan is one element for you to progress in Pathway Fast. The second is write and practice your speech. Many people, they don't write their speech, so they just imagine it. I would suggest that you write your script in one sitting and do not edit it. Because in our brain, we have the left brain and the right brain. And between writing and editing are on different sides of the brain. So when you have an idea of what to talk about, just don't imagine, just write it in one sitting. Do not edit, even if you have spelling mistake, if you have grammar mistake, and maybe the flow is not in there, it's not logical, it's okay, just finish writing it. Then you sleep over it, and the next day you can start your script editing. It works for me. And in fact, I also learned this when I took the course when I write a book. There is one of the mantra, write at the same time if possible. Write and do not edit, and then you take a different time to edit. For me, then I read my script 10 times at the beginning. For example, I only practice like 30 minutes each 3 times a day and do it in 3 or 4 days. And don't spend hours practicing at once because it will not be effective. There is so much that our brain can take. So just practice intermittently, but repeat it many times. And after you read your script 10 times, and actually this one I also learned from Muhammad Katani when I attended his workshop. So read your script 10 times and then put your script and practice it with that script in front of a mirror if you have one. You don't need to memorize the script because as long as you remember your outline, that's fine. You may not have the exact words as in your script, but what you need to do is just memorize the opening and closing only, because then it will boost your confidence that you have a good start and you have a good closing. Here, I think this is a very good quote. If you can film an idea in your mind, follow that film idea shot for shot, scene for scene, that idea is worth making. I think that is a very good quote. So it's like film your idea. So what is the purpose of write and practice, which I discussed with you? So write is to put your idea in writing. So it's concrete, not just imagination. And many of the newcomers probably are not aware the power of writing it, because like my protege did not write it. And that's why when it's time for him to deliver his speech, he was kind of wondering what he was going to talk. And even if he talked, he just probably prepare or think about it one day in advance. But we need more preparation to do our speech. So by writing and practicing, also to boost your confidence, because if you practice, then you feel more confidence and it will show in your performance. Then the third is commit to deliver your speech. Even if I don't have my speech ready, I schedule it with my VPE or with another club VPE. Because then once I schedule it, I commit myself. Sometimes, even after I schedule, I know that I'm closing to the date. I'm very, very busy. I felt like, oh, maybe should I cancel? But because you already committed, or for me, because I already committed, I did not want to break my commitment. And so far in Toastmaster, I have never broken any commitment which I made. And the second, don't confine yourself to deliver your speech in your club only. Explore other clubs. We know that now it's difficult to get slots, speaking slots. So we have to book well in advance. And don't confine to your club only speech, because otherwise if we wait for your club, it's only meeting every 2 weeks and you may not get the slot. But if you deliver in another club, then your time will be more flexible and you can have the time. But some clubs are so difficult to get. For example, like MBTC, sometimes it takes about 2 to 3 months to get the slot. So whatever level of project at the time, then I will go to deliver. So just commit to deliver your speech. You can think about the project later on. Try to get the slot first. So what is the purpose of commit to delivering your speech? First is get the speaking slot. And if you are like me, by getting the speaking slot, you commit because you already scheduled your speech. And don't break your commitment. I think there is one mantra: don't break your commitment. Even if you are very busy, don't break your commitment. At times, I was very busy. So sometimes I just prepare my speech like about 2 or 3 days and very short time to practice. But I did not want to break my commitment. And here I would like to share with you my Toastmaster journey. Presentation mastery, I start January 20th. And then I finished it, October 1st, 2019. And I completed 25th of June, 2020. So this is about 9 months. This is like the first pathway. So it took me 9 months because, as I mentioned, I didn't know that we could progress faster, because the members in Hand Toastmaster took it slowly, and I thought that was the norm. And after that, I took Persuasive and Influence. This one take about 5 months. I finished my level up to level 5 in 1.5 months. But the HPL project take very long, 3.5 months, because sometimes in a HPL project, we have team members, and it's difficult to control the time because depends on their commitment. Sometimes they have jobs which they give priorities. So in this case, we build a website and we rely on each of the member time and commitment. The first 2 people did very fast, but the last one took about 2 months to complete the project. And even so, if I did not use my persuasive and influence skill, then probably I would never get my project completed. Or if I could get it, it will take a lot longer. And in the meantime, I also do the mentoring program. So 6 months mentoring program. And while I was waiting for my HPL project to be completed, I took effective coaching. So we do not waste any time. So the HPL project takes 3.5 months. I started my effective coaching, and from September 9th until about December 9th. So 3 months to complete effective coaching. And this HPL project takes quite fast. So the key takeaway, number 1 is browse your pathway. Second, write in Excel. Third, think of your next speech. Fourth, write and practice. And 5, be proactive. looking for project that fit with your pathway. So if you know that somebody has a project, they need volunteers, and it fit with the project that you will have in level 4 or level 5, then be proactive. Offer to be in the group or in the team. And 6, schedule your speech and deliver your speech. If you do all of this, it will help you to progress in your pathway fast. In summary, there are 3 elements to progress in your pathway fast. The first is research and plan. The second is write and practice. And the third is commit to deliver your speech. And remind yourself of why you joined Toastmasters. What goals do you want to achieve? Because then you want to move forward and progress in your pathway. Practice and practice by progressing fast in your pathway. So, what are you waiting for? Progress in your pathway fast and wait no more. Back to Tom.
Wow, thank you so much, Toastmaster Ronawati. Let's give her a round of applause. You may also open your microphone. That's really beneficial and very important information for us. Thank you for sharing with us, Toastmaster Ronawati. And before we move on, if you have question, we will have question and answer session after the second speaker, all right? So we will listen to both speaker and then we will have question and answer after the second speaker. Thank you. And let's move on to our second speaker, which is Toastmaster Natali. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Okay. Let me introduce Toastmaster Natali. Has been in Toastmaster for 7 years, and she's currently a member of Magical Bali Toastmaster Club. And she is also the president of Bhinneka Online Toastmaster. I think this is the first online Toastmaster Club in District 87. So if you're interested, please inform Toastmaster Natali to join as the member of online Toastmaster. She found her passion in speaking and mentoring through Toastmasters, and since July this year has expanded her repertoire as a public speaker and trainer. All right, without further ado, let's welcome Toastmaster Natali. Over to you.
Thank you, Linda, for the wonderful introductions. Hello, everyone. My name is Natali, and I'm so glad that you are here today to attend the sessions. And I hope that whatever that we share to you today can be useful and can be beneficial for you in your Toastmasters journey, and also can be applicable in your work or in your personal life. Now, let me share my screen. And for my session, I would like my session to be as engaging as possible, as interactive as possible. So if you have a questions, or if I ask you a question, please participate, because your participate will determine the amount of learning that we're gonna have today. Okay, guys, so I will share from my experience and from what works for me and from my own research, how to find topics for your speeches. Now, let me ask you a question. What is your challenge in finding topics for your speech? What is your challenge in finding topic for your speech? Can I see in the chat box? To meet the project purpose. Okay. Anyone else? What is your challenge in finding topics for your speech? If you don't have any challenge, that's also great. It means that you already have like a lot of ideas. Okay, chat box coming in. Word of the day. Counting of interesting topics. Timing of speech. Okay, great. Great input. Schedule with mentor and VPE to polish my speech. How to be engaging. How to tap the audience interest. Awesome. Your concern and the thing that you face so far is hopefully what I can share today to at least shed a light on how to help you get or find interesting topics, to meet the project purpose, to be engaging, and to tap on the audience interests. Now, first, stop. I classify my presentation in 3 levels: the basic level, the intermediate level, and the advanced level. So the basic level is like everyone can do this, whether you're a new Toastmasters or whether you're an experienced Toastmasters. First thing we need to understand is idea sources are everywhere. So if you say that, oh, Natali, like Rona also said, and I think Cynthia also mentioned, I don't have interesting topics. I see content ideas everywhere. And if you put on an intentional glasses to try to find that topic that can interest you, you will find it anywhere easily. Now, first stop, it starts with you. Imagine that it's you. You have your interests, you have your background, your education background, your work background, your family background, how you grow up, your expertise and your knowledge, your life experiences, maybe the people you've met, places that you've traveled with, your friends and families, and also your dreams. Ideas are everywhere, but it starts with you. So the first thing that we need to do is look back on ourselves. And that's why in Icebreaker, the first speech in Toastmasters, it requires us to talk about ourselves, because that is the easiest way that we can get a speech topic. Now, let me ask you a question. What are your dreams, or what are the things that you want to achieve in 2020? Can someone type in the chat box quickly? Okay, where's the chat? Oh yes, there you go. Your personal story always interesting, Cynthis. Okay. What are your dream or your goals in 2020? Can anyone write it in the chat box? Writing a book. Thank you, Bu Rona. For Linda, reaching 10K steps walking. Thank you. From Elias, to survive. Okay, I think we all can relate to that. So those are already the beginning of finding a topic from within yourself. For Linda, for example, when you wanted to reach 10K steps walking, and I assume this is like every day, like a daily walk of 10K, you can have that topic, and then you can write it into a speech, maybe about your failure, if you can't keep it, maybe about the benefit of walking 10K every day, and also maybe about how you actually encounter someone or something during the 10K. So from that one particular thing, you can expand it to anywhere. So start with you. Start with what you know and what interests you. For example, in my recent speeches, one of them, I spoke about intermittent fasting, because I have adopted the intermittent fasting lifestyle since June this year. So in 6 months, I've already felt the benefits of the intermittent fasting lifestyle, and then I can share with the audience. And that's just one of the examples on how your interests or your lifestyle can be also a speech topic for you. Okay, next. If you want to go beyond yourself because you feel like, oh, Natali, it's so boring to talk about me, right? I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about something else. Especially if you want to do a more informative speech, I would recommend you to research references. Now, researching references can come from many different sources. We have books, we have newspaper and magazines, We have, you're very familiar with this, YouTube. We have podcasts, one of the emerging platform right now in the world for people to connect and to learn and to create. And last but not least, we have famous people, celebrity or motivational speaker, or anyone that you look up to or that you feel engaged or you feel connected with. So these are some basic sources of what or where you can get your ideas. So when you say, oh, there's not really something interesting in my life, okay, let's go beyond your life. What are you reading on right now? My best friend in Toastmasters, Pipit, she reads like 1 or 2 books per week. So in a month, she probably reads like 4 to 8 books. And whenever she read a new book and I asked her, hey, Pit, what are you reading this week? Oh, I'm reading Ego is the Enemy. Oh yeah, what's it all about? Oh, it's about this. There you go, you get one speech right away. So the more you read, the more you research, and the more you compile your sources, the more topics that you can have. This is what I use personally. Now we already have all of the sources from myself, from others, from people we know also. Maybe we listen to other people's stories. Maybe we met someone or we encounter something interesting. But this is how I try to filter that sources or that ideas into what I can turn into a speech that hopefully worthwhile and can bring value to audience. I always ask myself these 3 questions, because I believe that good ideas trigger you. Does it make you think? Does it make you feel something? And does it urge you to do something? If you think about this, when something makes you think or change your perspective, it engages with your mind. So for example, from what Bu Rona just shared about progressing fast in pathways, what made me think was when she shared to us that, oh, initially I progressed slow because I thought that was the norm. So I thought, oh, so really human is widely influenced by his or her environment. So it makes me think something. Oh, I probably can make a speech about how a good environment can help me become successful faster. So that's like a quick idea right away. And the second thing, does it make you feel something? This is more for an inspirational type of speech or persuasive type of speech, when you need an emotional connection with your audience to close the deal or to impart some message or to impact them. So if it can triggers you to feel something, whether you feel touched, whether you feel happy, whether you feel sad, whether you feel angry, then it's worth it. For example, I remember watching one of the winning speeches in Toastmasters. I think everyone here are quite familiar with Dhananjaya's I See Something in You. After I listened to that speech, I felt something, because I felt like he was speaking to me and he said, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. And I felt his struggle as well, how he went through his problematic teenage years into where he is now. And many people didn't know the background story, but apparently that year when he won the contest was his 10th year in trying a Toastmasters contest. So he needs to fail 9 consecutive years before he actually succeeded in the 10th year. And that made it more impactful for me. And it also actually urged me to do something. It urged me to compete in a speech contest, because I thought, maybe I should just try. Maybe I should, whatever the result is, I just try it, because who knows, I have something in me that I cannot see now, but someone else might be able to see it and help me. So I believe that good ideas that resulted in a good speech will trigger you to think, to feel, and will urge you to do something. And this is also one tip that I got from Dhananjaya. I had the privilege on meeting him in Brunei in 2016. in person before all of this online pandemic happened. He said, speak what you are passionate about. This is very important if you want to build an emotional connection with your audience. You see, emotional is like between my heart to yours. How I can transfer what's inside my heart to what's inside of the audience heart and mind as well, if that's more informative. And this is one of the things that people thought or people often overlook, I think. They overlook problems and challenges in their life because they thought, oh, it's so difficult, I don't want to think about it. But hey, problem and challenges can be your speech topic. I actually spoke several speeches about the challenges that I encountered this year because of the pandemic, how it affected me in terms of my work, how I lost customer, how it struggled to keep our business afloat. But I package it not in a negative way, but I package it as there's always silver lining in everything. So problems and challenges, don't brush them off. Use them as a way for you to encourage others. Use them as also a way for you to let your emotion out. And it's like a cathartic process. Like you're also, when you speak and when you share it, it's also help you to move forward and try to find something positive in any negative things that happening. One of my good friends in Toastmasters recently encountered suffering grief, let's put it that way. She just found that her mother was passed away because she never knew her biological mother. And then at the same day, she found her uncle. So it's like right now she's experiencing all those grief, but what she did with that is she just shared it so people can appreciate what they have. That's the main idea that she had in sharing her recent problem and recent challenges that she faced in her life. So always focus on what can be shared with the audience, and this will bring us to the next level, to the intermediate level on the audience needs. Now, before I go there, let me ask you again, where do you usually get your speech ideas? Okay, type audience, please. Where do you usually get your speech ideas? Google, yes, of course. Day-to-day activity, YouTube. High five, Daniel. Personal experience, definitely. Journaling, yep. Daily life, yes, Synthesis, same. Books, personal experience. So actually, the first part that I just shared, you all already know. The question is how to bring that and package it so that it can be relatable to the audience and you can deliver value, which is like the advanced level, in my opinion. Friend story, news, problems. Thank you. Now here is the intermediate level, the audience needs. As a speaker, you have what you want to say, and you have what you want to say, and you also have your credibility as a speaker, or what we call as our ethos. As an audience, they have what they're interested in, and they have their needs. So understanding audience needs can help you build engagement, because where it meets, you see the yellow part, what you want to say and what they're interested in, that's the engagement. So this is very true. For example, I had a Toastmasters member, I think a few years back. He delivered his speech on tax accounting. Now, it's very interesting for him because he was a tax consultant. And he shared some quite technical terms about the accounting and some technical insight. The problem is the audience was the audience that do not have accounting background, and it was not even how good the topic was. He failed to engage the audience. So one of the suggestions that he got from the evaluator was to know your audience, to know what they're interested in, and to know what ways that he can bridge that gap of audience lacking knowledge and his own topic. So always focus on what your audience needs, what they're interested in, and how what you have, your experience, your stories, your expertise can bridge that gap to meet in the middle of that engagement part. Relevance and appropriateness is very important. So for example, if your audience is like this grumpy old man, he is analytically brilliant, loses sleep over inefficiency, and actually prefers typewriter compared to computer, and he believes in alien. Wow, what a tough audience. If you don't have a credibility in the topics that you're sharing on, this type of audience will frustrate you because he will be easily to turn off his focus. But in Toastmasters, luckily, we have a more supportive type of audience. We have it's part of the Toastmasters Club values that we provide supportive environment for members to grow from feedback and to learn together. It's part of the culture. So what we can learn to engage the audience is, if you speak in Toastmasters, generally no problem, as long as you find a relevant topic to your audience needs, and then you use simple terms. This is always works for me personally. Use less technical terms, especially if you're speaking or explaining about something technical or something subject focus. For example, when you're talking about investing or when you're talking about engineering, it's a very subject focus. So there's so many technical terms, but if you can simplify that, it can raise the engagement level with your audience. Now, stay relevant and appropriate to the occasion. This is something that you go beyond your club level. If you give a presentation in, for example, an event, they invited you for something, deliver a keynote speaker or deliver a training or do something else. Make sure you do some research about your audience, or at least ask your event organizer about your audience. What are generally their interests or their backgrounds or their knowledge? Are they mostly Indonesian or foreigners, or it's mixed? What are the audience sizes for this event? What are the audience demographic? More female, more male, more working in certain type of occupation? And most importantly, what kind of event and occasions that you got invited to? Is it a more formal conferences? Is it a more informal? Or was it more like the discussion and the discussion group that you can just participate freely? So to stay relevant and appropriate, research your audience first. At the same time, you're trying to match your topic and your offering to what the audience needs. Now, I would like to hear from you. Have you ever shared something that the audience cannot relate? Have you ever shared something that the audience cannot relate? And the easiest way to see this is from the faces. Well, right now you can't really see some of the people's faces when they turn off the video, but like right now, at least I can see people have, their eyes are still sparkling with interest. So I hope what I shared so far, you all can relate to. Yeah, I see chat box coming in. Yes, yes. Yes, especially if it's technical, definitely. Me too, I have the same problem as well. I've shared something that the audience cannot relate before, but that occasion or that incident helped me to revise my perspective on how I should prepare my topic or how I should prepare my speech. Before, in the basic level, we started with us. Remember, it's what we like, it's what our experience, our expertise. In a more intermediate level, we started with the audience. My friend Ping just shared this in the podcast even. Be interested, not interesting. So what it means is that what your audience are interested in, focus on that. They probably won't really care whether you're interesting or not, but if you really deliver what they are interested in, what they really wanted to ask, what they really need to know, then they will listen to you. Now, this is a more advanced level, and this is what I would like to suggest to all of you, because I think many people here are more not like newbie Toastmasters. There are several maybe, but everyone can learn this. So remember, the blue one is the one that we have at the basic level. Content about which we have personal passion and deep interest. When we have personal passion and deep interest, we can also put on our effort. We can put on our efforts to research. We can put on our efforts in delivering it. We can put on our efforts in making connection with the audience. But starting with us, the basic one, is not enough. You need to connect with the audience. And one of the ways to connect with the audience in terms of finding the topic is find a topic that they have a need for. Content that resonates with your audience and make them want to amplify or share. Can I share you one personal story first before I move to the third one? When I first did my training, I didn't really know the topic that they need. So I asked my friend, the training organizer, what do you need me to speak on? And she told me, oh yeah, Nat, just like the normal training lah. Things that we all can learn to improve our efficiency and productivity. Okay, but that was pretty general. Can you give me like a specific problems that you encounter? So after that, she shared with me, oh, actually the customer service experience level was rated really bad by the customers. Okay, so that's one I can talk about, improving customer service or like service excellence. And then what else? Tell me what else. And then she told me, oh, actually, there's so many things to do. We don't really know which one to do first. And it's become like, everything is just piled up. Okay, so I can talk about triage, how you prioritize and how you classify work so that you know which one to handle first and which one to handle later, about the urgency and priorities. Okay, next. So that's how I try to find what they need. So my content that I created is actually deliver what they need and resonates with them. Now, the third thing is content which you can provide unique value that hasn't previously existed. I would like to give you a disclaimer here. There is no unique value that hasn't previously existed, in my opinion. Everything under the sun has been existed from the day zero until day end. That's my personal belief. But what's unique value here means that how you can twist that value that you already know, maybe about kindness, maybe about love, maybe about giving a helping hand, with a fresh perspective that can feel like your content is new and novel. So personal passion, relevance with your audience and occasion, and last but not least, have a fresh perspective on the value. So when all three are met, it can give an impact to your audience. Now, you know about the personal passion, you know about the relevance, you know about the value or fresh perspective on value. The next question is how to do that, Natali? How to filter and how to arrange that topic I love this acronym, KISS, keep it simple, speakers. Sometimes we are so overwhelmed and overthinking with many things, you know, oh, it needs to be complicated because the more complicated it sounds, the more expert I look. Or sometimes you think, oh, it needs to be full of colors and full of pictures. It needs to be this, it needs to be that. My suggestion, keep it simple. What is the purpose of your speech or of your topic that you're writing or that you're doing right now? Is it just for a Toastmasters club? Is it for a seminar that you got invited to? Is it for example, if you're a teacher, is it for your students in the classroom? You can fit that topic into whatever occasion that requires you to. One thing that I would like to remind you is to keep it simple and specific. For example, in Toastmasters speech, normally it's 5 to 7 minutes. A great rule of thumb in writing your script for 5 to 7 minute speech is 1 minute of speaking equals 100 to 150 words, depending on the speech pacing that you have. So 1 minute of speaking equals 100 to 150 words. So if you want to get like an average, 1 minute equals to 125 words. In 5 to 7 minutes, just assume you need to have about 600 to 650 to 750 words. So it's so obvious that you need to keep it simple and specific into one particular message. If you look back at some of the message or some of the speeches that really inspire people, for example, Martin Luther King, I have a dream. The message is simple and specific. I have a dream that everyone will be treated equally. That's it. That is this specific and simple message. But the way he elaborated, it could be 1 to 2 minutes, it could be 5 to 7 minutes, or like what he did, probably about 15 to 20 minutes. The way he elaborated is what's make it stood out. But that is part of the speech writing and storytelling, which we're not gonna discuss it today. And with your topic, remember to put your own twist, because you have a story, other people have a story. Actually, in daily life, we probably experience similar things. We've been late to work, we've probably been in, we've probably been in a traffic accident before. We probably have pets or annoying neighbors, or maybe some of you annoying mother-in-law or father-in-law. Those are the things that we all encounter in our daily life. The only difference is we put our own twist and make it original. Remember, there is no unique value under the sun. But when you put your own twist to it, it can be unique, uniquely you. And last but not least, it's story, story, story. Story has power because story has been around since ages ago. And our brain, recently, neuroscientists has actually, they did a research on human brain, and they found out that human brain, our brains are attuned to stories. In particular, a negative story or stories that have like an emotional impact. So if you remember, if you look back to your story, you probably will be, it's probably easier for you to recall a sad story or story that brought you like deep grief or anger compared to stories that really make you happy or, just make you feel better. Because with the negative emotion, it strongly etched into your brain. But story, if you use it wisely, it can bring you, to the next level of your presentation, because it has ability to connect with people on emotional level. It makes them feel something and even urge them to do something. And this is what I believe also. And not just me, but statistics also said that. For some of you who are interested in joining Toastmasters contest, remember, fact tells, story sells. From 2011 to 2017, out of 15 top 3 speeches, all but one told personal stories. Statistic and factual data, almost non-existent. And among 33 stories inside the speeches, only 2 featured third-party stories, quoted from potentspeaking.com. What does it mean by 2 featured third-party stories? It means that the speaker presented some other people's story. It could be his or her friend's story or famous people's story. So yeah, fact tell, story tell. If you want to go in the contest, tell your own personal story. And I also had the privilege to meet the second place winner, Sherry Su, in 2019. And I asked her, so Sherry, if I want to make a contest speech, what are the questions I should ask myself to really get that story out of me? She told me to make it personal. Ask yourself these questions. What was my biggest failure or struggle? What has it taught me? What was my biggest success? How did I achieve it? If I could say something to someone to change his or her life, what would I say? So I thought, that's actually a good prompting questions. Failure, struggle, success. One of the storytelling technique that's commonly used is hero journey. So from no one to someone, from zero to hero. And that involves getting through the failure and struggle, with all of this conflict here, and raising up into where he, the hero of the story, achieves success, or at least, be in a better place than where he started before. So make it personal. Now, last question. What are some universal values that you want to share with the audience? Type in the chat box. Type in the chat box, please. What are some universal values that you want to share with the audience? And this can be your next speech topic, or even not just topic, but a specific message. Humility. Okay, good, Rona. Gratitude, yes. Kindness, respect, thank you. Aliyah. Persistence, awesome. Let me give like a brief comment because I think my time is up. For humility and kindness, commitment, yes. When Cintis wrote down gratitude, I remember this speech I listened, I think 2 years ago. This speaker shared with us about his gratitude jar. So he has this jar that he put in like a post-it notes. Every day he wrote one thing in that post-it note and he put into that gratitude jar. And that speech was about the gratitude jar. And apparently in the speech, he also shared that he did it because he wanted to commemorate his aunt passing. And his aunt was the one who started this tradition in his family about putting in one thing that you can be thankful of today. And after that, the way he twists the story was very interesting, that even after 2 years, I can still remember that. Kindness, respect, persistent commitment. Thank you, thank you. Any universal value that you want to share with the audience is the first place that you can start in writing your speech, especially for the contest. International speech contest requires you to have universal value for the audience. A specific thing that the audience can relate to. And the one that you just shared in the chat box was still pretty general. So you can sharpen that into something that's more specific. For example, persistence about something, persistence in reaching out to your dreams, or persistence in the midst of challenge. Like what? And that's where the story comes in. Respect, because probably other people might not respect you, but how you can still give respect. Maybe your boss degraded you, but how you can still give other people respect, that could also be part of your speech topic. Now, this is just a quick bonus, how to translate your ideas. If you're a visual and creative person and you have so many things on your brain, try to make a mind map. So from a mind map, you can list every single thing, just like Rona said. Just write down everything first. I think Rona is a more structured person. She just sit down and type. But after mentoring quite a lot of Toastmasters members, I realized that not everyone can do the same approach. So some of my mentees, they are very visual and creative. So the way I mentor them is I made the mind map. So the topic is, for example, respect. So respect, and then you write down stories or things or incidents or problems and the characters and stuff. So this is just an example of global warming, doing something. And then home, buy local food, use less plastic, don't fly, blah, blah, blah. If you're a structured person, more like Rona, write. If you're an analog, write with pen or type. And you can type in, just like Rona shared, in one go. Or for me personally, what worked for me actually is I type in certain sentences or certain things that triggers me. So for instance, for my speech yesterday, it's about wandering courageously in life. So that's the first sentence that I had in my brain, wandering courageously. So I just type in wandering courageously. Oh, I'm a lost wanderer. Any sentence or any things that can trigger you, just write it down. Later you can, you can stitch them up. So this is a little bit different approach than Rona. But again, this is very personal. You do you. You do you. You do whatever works for you. And last but not least, some of my mentees also requires brainstorming session where they need to talk with other people to have the idea bounce back, to get clarity. And other people cannot write. They also cannot do mind map, but what they did was they recorded their voice. So if they had something, they just recorded it. And if they had something, they just recorded it. It doesn't have to be like 5 to 7 minutes right away. It could be 1 minute, it could be 30 seconds, but they just collected it. So in summary, ideas are everywhere, and 3 levels of engagement and impact is passion, relevance, value, and use of story. I hope that's useful for you, and I welcome any questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Natali. Please give a round of applause for his insightful speech topics. Yeah, I really like that both speakers are really have given so much information for today. Yeah, and really beneficial.